Okay, so let me quickly explain the definition of frustration to you. This movie's release date. I mean, because this was out last year, like ages ago in the US, and then it just kept getting pushed around here, and then it came out in June, and it's now July, and we've only just gotten a chance to see it. But oh my god, it's so good!
Finally!
It's so good! Let's talk about it.
Jamie, I also want to say never have sex with just the vagina. You have to have sex with the whole woman.
That's slightly off topic.
So 20th Century Women is the latest film directed by Mike Mills, who did Beginners back. It was like 7 years ago that he did that film with Christopher Plummer, who won an Oscar, who won an Oscar for it. And I mean, it shows how good he is with actors here because we've got Annette Benning, Billy Crudup, Greta Gerwig, Elle Fanning, and the kid's name, we're going to look that up right now.
Yeah, what's he called?
Lucas Jade Zumann, and he's really important here because he's basically our central character. The entire story revolves around basically he's living with his single mother, played by Annette Benning. He's 15 years old, and his mum kind of enlists the help of these two other women, played by Greta Gerwig and Elle Fanning, to help raise him in 1979. It's kind of a weird story plot-wise talking about because it's one of those kind of loose, kind of just living in the moment type films, and I think that's why this movie is so enjoyable, because this is, I mean, if we'd have done our best of 2016 list after seeing this, we'd be talking this would be somewhere inside that top 10. Like, it was so good. I had so much fun with this movie. The experience of seeing it was great. It's just a great movie.
It's just a hell of a film to see. It is just so much fun, and it has such a large target audience as well. I mean, yeah, like,
There's
what a
so
time.
much going on. It's such a beautiful tapestry of just people in general. I know that the kind of focus here is women, but just the male characters as well. It's such an interesting focus on how we kind of build our lives and how we become the people we are, and I just...
So good, and I think the best way to start is probably at Mike Mills' script, because that's where everything just comes to life, because for starters, the structure of this film is unbelievable, because he does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
Like, he gives you the ending about halfway through a voiceover, but like, it's not the ending of the film, it's kind of the ending of their lives, and it didn't really matter, you just kind of kept going along with it. But the way he structured kind of each character and their own arc within the film, and then the actual film story as a whole was just, it was poetic.
It's one of those films that's about the idea of building a life, how the experiences that we have build someone. This movie does something really, really brilliant right in the first 20 minutes with pretty much all its 5 main characters, as seen here behind us. They all are basically, we're told where they're going to end up as such. So their characters kind of, whether it's a conversation with someone else or something that's said in a voiceover or whatnot, we find out where they are now and where they're likely to be. So as an audience member, pretty much anyone can tap into following a journey of a character. Quite often we see kind of indie films where we're not too sure what's going along the way. We don't know what this scene means. We don't know what's happening. Whereas we can kind of track the trajectory that this person's going to go on, and we know, oh, this scene's going to impact them this way. This is going to impact them this way. And that is such a brilliant thing to watch. Like, that was honestly astounding for me as a writer watching. I was like, ah.
Yeah, and you know, it's something that the film really kind of deals with, like, parenting, but parenting in a way of like worrying and like having a child and just really being worried about them and like where they're going to go in their life. And when you're in the moment and you're talking, you know, to your son or your daughter or whoever, and you're just really worried about them, and like, if you do this, you're going to end up here. But then, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, in those small little moments, it seems like everything is so significant. But in the broader picture of life, it's just a small little dot. And like, I think that's where the film just really nails it.
The relationships between all the characters here are fantastic. And obviously that's partially because of the script. But the quality of the acting here is some of the greatest I've ever seen. Like, it is genuinely, everyone across the board delivers. And even those extras or those minor roles that pop up for one scene, everyone just has so much punch and so much fun. And it just creates this, like, as I keep saying, this amazing tapestry of these different lives at this different time.
They've just got like such juicy characters to work with, and like really, really juicy dialogue as well. Like dialogue that's so goddamn meta. You're going to be sitting there in your chair in the cinema and going,
There's like moments where the script actually like references itself, but it never doesn't seem natural. Like, some people will pick up on it, it's like, that's an in-joke the writer's having with himself. But at the same time, it all just feels completely natural. And I mean, some of the exchanges between the characters here are really fantastic. It's kind of almost got that that kind of teen movie vibe, but it's not. It's just got this really up-tempo, really enjoyable. Yeah, it gets heavy at times, but that heaviness is just kind of part of the flow of life, and I think that's how this movie kind of treats it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, like, Annette Benning is just unreal.
She's always been unreal, like right back. Everyone remembers
unreal.
American Beauty, but here she's just
She's something else entirely here, and she really did talk about the fact, like, her process and how, like, closely she worked with Mike Mills too, because it's the film is about Mike Mills' mother essentially, and like he really worked tightly with her to create this performance on screen, and it just shows because Annette Benning spoke about how passionate he was for the film, and you know his own mother, and then she could see that, and you could see that she could really relate to the character, and it just transpired. It was it's such a special performance.
And in terms of style, I mean, it's not like an overly stylized type film. Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff done here. I think it all kind of comes down to color and composition. The color really pops. It really communicates a lot about how characters are feeling, what they're going through in a certain scene. But also the way the camera kind of, there's a lot of doorway shots where we feel like we're kind of just looking in on a life, a lot of looking through windows, and the camera just moving in and out. And this film's actually got this weird sense of music to it, where there's a lot of, I feel like at least 20% of the film's runtime was dedicated to characters dancing.
Yeah.
And just, I feel like the film uses dance as a way that characters can ultimately express themselves freely. And that was just,
Again, it was just back to like characters and like ourselves living the moment at the time. So I mean, like I think time played such a massive key to this film as well. Like obviously being in the 70s, but then it talked about how like punk rock came and went and the influence it had in people's lives. It's just, this film is just so goddamn good.
it's one of those films that like I don't feel I can ever fully unpack. I feel like I can skim across the surface, and I feel like we've gone in depth here, but I feel like we're only just kind of covering what was happening right at the top. I mean, there's so much to dive into in every single scene. It'd be a great film to break down for dynamics and stuff the whole way across. The way it flows, the way it moves, the way it thinks, and the way it feels. It just makes for a really, really special experience all around.
So yes, 20th Century Women was just honestly one hell of a ride, and if you get the chance, do not miss it. So we're going to give this one a big old 9.7.
Man, we wanted to walk straight back into the cinema. I'm not even kidding. We walked out the cinema doors and we're like, yep, go into the next session straight away because it's just so much fun. So that was our review of 20th Century Women. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter.